guys, I decided to go book shopping today and buy what I want to, but I have to read it right away, so it's not going to be part of a physical TBR for like a long time. I'm gonna see what I can find and then buy it. Let's go in. Goods now, and I'm here for some kitchen towels for spring, so let's get some. Is this giving too much grandma? Is this one better? I don't know what to do. Want to help me pick one? Which one do you like better? No. You like this one better? Okay, this one it is, I guess. I'm back home. See, I was still using my Christmas towels for the kitchen, so gonna get rid of that finally. And I'm going to add these new towels. I really like it. It's really cute. I feel like this kitchen is a specific color and a certain type of tile, therefore a certain style, so not a lot goes with this. I'm gonna have to wash this first. And then I really did not get much into this one just yet. I'm on like page 15 right now. I didn't even tell you guys what this book was about. Just to let you guys know, they are both university students, and he and his friends started an app, kind of like an Uber, but with vintage cars. It's like a rideshare app for students throughout the campus and around the campus. It says that she was basically broken up with by her boyfriend, and so she doesn't know where to go anymore. And he sees her in the hallway because I guess her boyfriend and this guy live in the same apartment complex. So he sees her kind of just sitting there. So he invites her to have some coffee and she accepts. And I feel like she's going to end up living with him somehow. That's pretty much all I got so far. I'm just so happy to be finally reading a physical book. It feels so nice to read it physically. Also, this says it's an international best-selling author, and I believe this book was first written in French and it's really popular in Europe in general. I think France and Italy maybe, and now it has been translated to English. We have been using my iPad for our baby's sound making machine. Put it on YouTube, you know those 8-hour, 12-hour long videos where it is exactly the same noise? So I put that on and we've been using my iPad even though it has so many more functions. So my very attentive husband bought a new tablet so that we could use this specifically for her sound making machine. Now I can finally use my iPad. Oh, that didn't tear as easily as I thought it would. Ta-da! I love opening new packages. Yay! Let's talk about this book. I read up to page 85 last night. I'm on chapter 8. Our FMC's name is Lois and our MMC's name is Lane, which together we have Lois Lane. And it's not lost on his friends that their name together is Lois Lane. In general, Lane is a pretty nice guy. He's just a little irritated, or a lot irritated, by having to house this stranger girl. And who wouldn't be? You know, no one wants to have a stranger sleep on their couch. So he's having an internal struggle right now where he wants to help this girl out, but he doesn't want to have the inconvenience of having someone live with him. We're starting to see the story unfold a little bit more, and it's starting to get more interesting. I like that his friends are really supportive of her, so I like that the friend group is really nice, and I can see how the series continues on because his friends are all good people. But yeah, right now she's still a little lost, or a lot lost, and I'm enjoying it so far. Also, him and his friend group is like the popular guys of the campus, of course. So far, I really like this. I'm gonna continue to read it, and then I'll give you guys an update in a little bit. I just got a jury summons. I have to respond within 10 days. It's not officially that I have to go. I think I have to like complete a survey, but I'm going to LA soon. And I think they overlap with my LA trip dates. So let me fill out the questionnaire and we'll see if I have to report for duty. Okay, I just finished the questionnaire and it turns out I do officially have jury duty service. But the good news is that it doesn't overlap with my LA trip. So thank goodness, that's all I can really ask for. We just finished dinner and I found out that it's not actually jury duty. It's the day that you come in to be selected or not selected for jury duty. I also wanted to update you guys on this book. Things are starting to heat up. You know what this book reminds me of is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, because they are a group of guy friends and I'm sure that every one of those guy friends are going to have a book of their own. And then there's there's a one girl who just kind of has like not a bad attitude, but at least this one I like better than Icebreaker because she's a little bit nicer and at least her behavior is somewhat justified. I'm not done with it yet. I'm like right there. I'm on page 276 and I haven't really gotten to the more spicy scenes. I feel like it's just like not bad so far. I feel like it's definitely a slower burn. It reminds me of Icebreaker, but better. However, it's not like I'm fawning over this book. I don't entirely see how it went viral. What I kind of wish would happen in this book is that I know that this was translated into English recently. However, they made the book as American, if that makes sense. So even though this book was originally written in French, they're talking about the US. They're going to an American university. They are celebrating Thanksgiving, which maybe France has a Thanksgiving of their own, but I don't feel like they call it Thanksgiving, or do they? They just made it very, very American-esque, and I can see that, except for some of their behaviors, like when someone kisses someone on the cheek. So it's like a mishmash of like the two cultures. I just wish they would have stuck with the French stuff because I would have loved to learn the different types of things that they do and the holidays that they celebrate. Those are my thoughts on that. Also, as a business model for this kind of Uber-esque thing that they're doing, him and his friends for around campus, it doesn't totally make sense to me because there's like, what, 4 guys or so who are available to be drivers. So they just have to drop everything when someone requests a ride, because someone can request a ride specifically for one particular person. What if the guy is taking an exam or has an emergency or something else? Like, how does that work? It's just the 4 of them. I just don't see how that makes sense as a business model. But yeah, so the next time I see you, hopefully I finish this novel. If you saw my last clip, you saw me reading at like 4, 5, 6 in the morning. I've been falling asleep with my daughter at a really early time, so then I wake up super early. But I did finish this book and I changed my mind about the MMC Lane. I don't like him. I did not like the third act breakup. Red flag. You know what I mean? I kind of liked our FMC's character growth, Lois, but then towards the end, it felt more like, girl, can you just please be independent and not have to rely so much on other people? So as I was reading this book, I thought it was going to be a 4 stars, but the ending, I did not like his behavior and I did not like her reliance so much on other people. So it ended up being a 3.75 stars for me, which I find a little bit disappointing because I was genuinely enjoying the book. And now that I'm looking at it, I see that it's for fans of Elle Kennedy and Hannah Grace. And I understand why. There we have it. Finish this book. Okay, so we're at Target now, and since we're going to LA this weekend, I'm trying to buy some presents for my niece. She loves Paw Patrol. I'm wondering if this fire truck is too big of a thing to put in our luggage. There's a fire thing and this thing. So I just FaceTime my sister. It turns out she has this one, but she does not have this one, so I'm gonna get this one. And then maybe add some characters with it too. And then also, I think she was interested in the pink one when we FaceTime too, so we'll try that. While I'm here, let's check out the books.
Skies are blue past the evergreen. Tell me, baby, do you see? I see.
Okay, should I even attempt to wrap this or just give it like this? They're all, do you see there's space in between and there's no way I can wrap perfectly. And as you guys saw, I got this book. It feels so nice to know that I could just buy whatever I want for this video. Honestly, I'm not entirely too sure about the premise. I know that I'm not too interested in the premise, but I've heard really great things about this book, so that's why I was interested in reading it. Into the Blue by Emma Brodie. This is a Reese's Book Club pick. Oh, so I think it has 2 different timelines. First, it starts off in the summer of 2000 where AJ Graves dreams of writing for Saturday Night Live, but instead she's working for a local video rental store. Then there's Drew, who's supposed to be an actor of some sort or is part of a family that's really big in acting. They form a friendship with each other and then Noah disappears without a word. And then 7 years later, they run into each other at a TV production. But he's famous by then. Oh, she becomes an actress too, and then their on-screen characters grow closer every day, and then the lines begin to blur between reality and acting. Look at the inside pages. This is beautiful. I wish it would have had something on the cover, but that's okay. Looks like it's almost 450 pages. Let's get to it. Literally taking up the entire check-in luggage. I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous video, but I signed myself and my grandma up for this thing called Love for Our Elders. Leave a link down below. But it's basically you sign up your elder who wants to receive mail from anybody around the world who accesses this website. And it's just kind people who volunteer their time to send a letter to the elders who are just kind of feeling a little lonely. And when my parents came to visit recently, they took most of the letters, but then honestly, we got so much more, and like in bags and bags of them. So I can't believe people are so nice to give their time and write a letter to my grandma. That's so nice of them. And now I'm thinking it's not gonna all fit, so we might have to use a bigger luggage. Also, I'm just so nervous that this is gonna break off. Like, how am I supposed to...
I was down in a town in LA, trying to override what I couldn't erase.
We are now in downtown LA. My husband Moon has a conference here, so we're just in the hotel room. So I get to just read a book while my parents watch our baby. So it's a nice relaxing time. I'm gonna go meet my cousin later for lunch. So I'm gonna have to put a slight pause on Into the Blue. I will read it, but I, for right now, need to change to a different book, and I'll tell you why. Because when I was in the car with my mom, we were going to the market and we were listening to the radio, and I was like, oh, you know, it's been a long time since I've listened to the radio, because usually I have Spotify on. So we were talking about like listening to the radio on the way to work. You know, it's a nice like feeling because you're just like all to yourself. And she usually listened to 102.7 Kiss FM, where they do Ryan's Roses, which is Ryan Seacrest, by the way, the former host of American Idol. So the whole point of this Ryan's Roses is that usually a female calls in to the radio station, and someone from Ryan's team calls the caller's partner, and they basically offer him fake roses, saying like, hey, I have these dozen roses that you won, and you can send it to anyone who you want to. Just give me a name and address. Basically, they call him, and it's on a three-way line, and he doesn't know that she's listening to the phone call the entire time. So this is gonna be a long story, I'm sorry. So basically, one of the team members calls the partner, and if he wants to send it to the wife, then I guess it looks like he's not cheating, or he wasn't caught cheating. But sometimes, and usually they are caught cheating, so he can sometimes send it to a other female friend or like a coworker or whatever. So if the guy sends the flowers to not the original caller, then someone from Ryan's team says, hey, by the way, you're on air. Or usually the wife or girlfriend or whoever is the one to speak up and say, who's blah blah blah, why are you sending flowers to her? And that's how they get caught. I know it's terrible, but sometimes it's really entertaining, and my mom loves that show because she finds it super entertaining. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because that conversation led us into another conversation where my mom was like, oh yeah, Shania Twain has a book that tells about her life and how her husband cheated on her and how it showed up on her For You page for YouTube. Yeah, it's called Stranger. And I was like, oh, okay, let me look it up, because if she's interested in a book, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy you that book. If you want to read, I'm gonna get you that book. So I've been searching and searching, and I was like, Shania Twain does not have a book called Stranger. She's like, yes, she does. Yes, she does. And we were going back and forth. Shania Twain has a book, like an autobiography called From This Moment On, but not Stranger. It's like, no, it's about her husband cheating on her and blah, blah, blah. I'm like trying so hard to look for it. I was like, no, there's no book called Stranger by Shania Twain. There's a book called Strangers by a person you probably don't know, but that's all about her and her divorce and all that stuff and how her husband cheated on her. And I was telling her about it, and she was like, oh my God, wait, that's the book. So I was like, what? That's a really recent release. How would you know about that book? Are you on BookTube? So I pull it up and I show her the book Strangers, and she's like, yeah, that's the book. And I'm like, oh my God, how do you know this book? So it turns out she was talking about Strangers by Belle Burden. And I was flabbergasted because that actually showed up on her YouTube. So I bought Strangers by Belle Burden for her. And I also bought her the Shania Twain book, which is back at the house. I cannot believe that she knows about this book. That is ridiculous. She's not on BookTube. I guess like she finds that drama fascinating with the whole like husband cheating on her and stuff like that. My parents are fine, but she just finds those stories and those K-dramas entertaining. So we got that mystery solved. I bought this book for her, but I also want to read it, and I don't want to pay for this book twice. So what I'm going to do is try to read this book and finish it before we have to leave for home. And then I'm just going to leave it with her. So that's why I have to put a pause on Into the Blue. So what's this book about? Belle Burden, the author, she wrote a book about her life. She and her family have a lot of money, and she lived this really privileged life. But I believe this book centers around her marriage because her husband of 20 years cheated on her, and so she was just kind of coming to terms with it and trying to understand like, how did this happen to me? He's not the guy that I knew. But her being super rich on top of that kind of just gives for an added layer of like, oh, that's interesting how the rich lived, you know? So she kind of learned how a woman is expected to behave in the face of betrayal, and how through it all she transformed. Hopefully I really like it and really encourage my mom to read this. You know, as you're getting older, you want to take care of your parents, and in any way possible that I can, whether it's reading a book and getting her away from the screen of watching K-dramas, if I can get her into a book, then I'm gonna be so proud of myself. Because this is a great hobby to have. So yeah, let's start The Strangers. My cousin should be arriving soon, so I'm gonna go read in the lobby while I wait for them, and yeah, let's read this book. Hopefully it's good. Yay!
Got me falling for you. Sidestep, day trip, pulling me both ways like a cyclone. I think it might happen any day. What do I know? I don't have it your way. Got me for you, falling for you, falling for you. Tell me, do you love?
It's 2:43 a.m., so I have to be quiet, but I'm really enjoying it so far.
I am back home. I'm actually outside of the courthouse right now because I had jury duty scheduled today. But it turns out that all jurors are excused for today. So I get credit for having served jury duty without actually having served jury duty. So that's cool. This has happened to me twice now. So I'm like very lucky with this apparently. But while I'm out here, I thought I would catch you guys up on the book that I read. I did end up finishing Strangers by Belle Brodie, and I left it with my mom, so I don't have it physically with me. I wish I did because I did like the feeling of the dust jacket. It was like a nice textured old paper feeling. But I really liked that book. I was trying not to rate any memoirs or anything like that. However, this one I ended up rating it 5 stars because I feel like it's a good read to read. It's really important. In general, I feel like it's a really good read to read for all women or all stay-at-home parents. The main focus of this book is about her divorce and how rough of a time she had with it, how her husband behaved. The whole point of this book is that she's going through a divorce and she's recounting her experience with it, but she also happens to be wealthy, so it's interesting to see how the ultra wealthy live. So I thought it was just such an interesting read. I think the biggest takeaway from this book that I got was really just that you should pay attention to finances. Obviously this person is very wealthy, so it mattered, but in general I feel like it's a good thing to know that you should know what's going on with your finances. A lot of the times in relationships, one person takes care of all the finances, pays all the bills and all that stuff. So her point was that it's not good to do that. Good to know all about the finances, and don't leave it to your partner to handle everything. You should be aware, at least somewhat, of what's going on, where the money's coming from, where it's going, and how everything is allocated. It was just a really fun, interesting read, and her tone throughout it was not vindictive. It felt like she had come to terms with it and she had time to analyze it thoughtfully. She was so open and honest about her relationship, about her life. She knew that she was subjecting herself to criticism because before she published this book, she wrote an article for, I forgot what, a different type of medium. I think it was like a magazine or something like that, or a newspaper. But she had written that piece and she saw that she received a lot of criticism because she's a wealthy person going through a divorce. So a lot of people were saying, boo-hoo, your husband cheated on you. You're still wealthy. Who cares? That was a lot of the attitude that she was receiving. And she was kind of saying like, as a human, people still deserve empathy whether or not you're rich. And another thing that she received was that she's a woman who is seemingly complaining about her divorce. So a lot of people were like, oh, this woman is very hysterical. She is so vindictive. How can she air out her dirty laundry like that? She should just keep quiet. And so there's just a lot of like different criticisms that she received from that. However, she continued to write this book and publish it because she thought it would help people. And I feel like she's right. I feel like it's a very much a wake-up call to people who, even if you're not wealthy, you still should be aware of your finances and not just leave it to your partner to deal with. So if in any way that helps someone, I feel like she did a great job. She did a great job in writing this book because it was such an easy and fast read. And I would not read this to get into the life of the glamorous people, of the wealthy and the rich. She did have dollops of stuff like that in there. However, that was not the main point. The main point was how she dealt with this divorce and how everything went down. Okay, so now that I have finished it, I am currently now reading Into the Blue by Emma Brodie. Back into reading this one. I am currently on page 57. I think I really feel the chemistry already between the two, so I'm enjoying that aspect of it. I'm gonna go home now and relieve my husband. I will come back with an update later.
Oh, no, 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 no.
I did some damage. This video is quickly turning into a buy whatever I want video in general. Let me just quickly show you what I got. From Aloe, I got this really cute tennis skirt. I thought the color was really cute and it's like a really pretty skirt with like a nice flow to it. So I really like it. There's a black version as well, I think. So that's really cute. I like how thick the bag is. And then we always stop by the Lego store just so she can kind of see the figures. She's not 1.5 yet, but we got this for her, this 1, 2, 3 train. She likes playing with the Legos, so we've noticed that. Her first Lego. Also got some, clothing, laundry, all of this, and some shoes as well that I already let her wear. I love Aritzia pieces. They are so well made. I wasn't even looking for something, but I just stopped by. And then I happened to find a pretty dress that I really like and it fits well on me. It's so pretty. It's a really cute summer dress and it feels nice quality. And then also, I wanted chocolate. So I got this Royce chocolate because it tastes good. Also, it's supposed to be like really popular in Japan. I already ate some of it. Got this in dark chocolate. But yeah, that's what I got so far. A really quick haul. I will give you an update on the book. I am currently on page 114 and still using my receipt as a bookmark. I should replace that. So far, we know that from the synopsis that they were supposed to meet 7 years later after not talking to each other for that long of a time. And I'm at the point where they saw each other again 7 years later. Still liking it. I will continue to read this. It is kind of like a slower read, I would say, because I'm not reading it as fast. Definitely not as fast as Strangers by Belle Burden. This is kind of like a take your time kind of read. But yeah, also my friend from college is visiting me right now and staying with us. They are currently on a hike right now. The married couple, they're on a hike. If you have been meaning to deep clean your house and you have been putting it off, invite some people over and it'll get you into gear to clean your house because you have to. You cannot show people your messy house. So my house is super clean right now. Anyways, so I'm gonna get back into some reading and I'll catch up with you guys later. Ta-da! This is the dress. Look at how pretty this is. I just love how it fits and feels and looks so pretty. I love it. And the back is quite stretchy too. You guys think it's cute too, right? I'm not the only one who's like feeling this. I have nowhere to really wear this thing to, but it's good to have in your back pocket for if the occasion comes up. Maybe a picnic, who knows? It's nice to feel pretty once in a while. I just really love the feel of it. It feels really comfortable and it feels like I can eat a full meal and not feel uncomfortable. So that's really all I can ask for. Now that I've shown off the dress, I'm gonna sit down and let you guys know that while I was in LA, my dad gave me an old iPad that my niece is no longer using. So he gave it to us to use as the white noise machine maker. And we are going to use this one because it is a much older model. So now we don't know what to do with the tablet that we purchased recently. And I already took it out of the box, so I'm assuming that I can't return it. We're going to have to find some other use for this. Also, our friends left yesterday. Their flight made it safely back home. So update on the reading. I am on page 284. So last I updated you, I let you know that I found out why they weren't speaking for those 7 years. And now that they've seen each other again, the story is progressing. I'm like this much done. I'm just gonna replace this Target receipt with, ta-da! The leaflet. That's my bookmark now. So I'm about yay way through, a little more than halfway done. I'm enjoying it. However, I do feel like it's a little bit longer than I would want. I feel like though I'm just starting to get into the juicy part of it where everything's gonna kind of collapse and I'm waiting for that third act conflict if there is gonna be any. I will say that I was hoping to get a little bit more sucked into this than I am. I'm enjoying it. I really enjoy the chemistry that they have, which staying true to the characters, when they do improv together, they really do have chemistry and I can feel it, and they have chemistry in general in real life or in this fictional real life. However, at times I do feel like it's getting a little bit long and this book is a little bit long. I also at this point found out why it's called Into the Blue, so that's cool. So I'm still editing my Korea vlog. I have this book to finish, and then I also have to select the photos that the photographer took for our daughter's first birthday in Korea, which we're really behind on that. I feel so bad. I need to select those so that he can make it into an album and send it to us. Oh, I also have to laundry the entire guest room and guest bathroom because our friends left. So have that to do and just cleaning in general. Oh, and my husband's coming back from his walk with our daughter. So gotta go now. I will give you guys an update when I finish the book, hopefully. I finished Into the Blue. I felt how intense this book was, which is why I suspect it got such a high rating. However, I have two main negative points about this book. I have, at this point, read a lot of books. I unfortunately and unintentionally did predict a lot of what was going to happen, especially the main plot point, which I'm sure made less of an impact for me. So it was a little less dramatic for me. Two, this book is very long, and the author acknowledges this in her acknowledgements. So I did feel myself getting a little bored from time to time. This is the book for you if you like angst, if you like when the book spans over a long period of time. I think this spans over 10 years. And if you have a mild interest in improv and theater and movies. However, I did feel that the plot was a little bit cyclical in the middle. For me, some of it could have been cut and it would have made the book a lot better. Okay, I may be really weird, but this reminded me a lot about mirror box therapy, which is used to treat phantom limb pain. It's when a serviceman loses a hand, but the brain and body still expect the hand to be there. But since there is no hand, there's no way to release any of that, so it ends up being really painful. Why did I think about this? Because I feel like their improv is their mirror box therapy. So how mirror box therapy works, I'll try to explain it, is that you have your actual hand that still exists onto your limb, and then you have your arm that doesn't have the hand. You put both into the box, and then you can kind of see through the mirror this limb without the hand actually has the hand now by reflecting the image of your arm with the hand. So in that way, you clench the fist and then you release it, and then thereby letting your brain see that you're releasing your fist so that it's not painful anymore for the limb without the hand. Does that make sense? So what I feel like is that improv is their mirror box therapy. They're able to go through this illusion and create this artificial space where they can release and be honest with each other and let their pain go. It might be a stretch, but that's what I was thinking. This book makes you think hard about how people express love, agency, and bravery. And in my opinion, it also shows how powerful art can be and how healing it can be too. Improv allows them to be honest with each other while their realities are trying to put a wedge between them. I'm giving it a 4.25 stars. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you had a great time and found some insight on some new reads. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!